Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. And if you are a first-time viewer who listened along with us, congratulations, you've done it. We're talking part 18 of The Return, the series finale of Twin Peaks, written by Mark Frost and David Lynch, directed by David Lynch. I am the rewatcher, Colton Robertson, and for the last time, the first-time viewer, Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up, what up? It is a pleasure. It's a strange one, though, today. I'd like to remain the first-time viewer, like forever, somehow. But I know, now I'll be a second-time viewer, a return viewer.
Now you are the rewatcher. We come full circle. It is time for you to pick up the mantle of Fire Pod with me and show it to somebody else who's never seen it, and you be the rewatcher, and I'll listen from afar. I love it. Part 18 brings the show to a thunderous conclusion. A soul-shattering, reality-breaking scream concludes it all.
Yep.
We are going to be doing our scene-by-scene breakdown, as is typical. But before we dive into that, of course, if you have not watched Part 18 and you are listening to a podcast about the series finale of Twin Peaks, please don't do that. I advise you not to. You are a human being with your own free will. We may exist inside a dream, but I don't know that for a fact. So, you have free will as far as I'm concerned. You're more than welcome to listen. You shouldn't, though. You should watch the show and then you should listen. That is my recommendation. Everything before this is fair game. Everything in this episode is fair game, which means that everything in Twin Peaks is now fair game. There is nothing else besides book stuff. And maybe we get there one day. We'll see. But
So I guess I'm not truly in the know of everything. There is still some.
And whether or not you can be in the know regarding the book stuff is weird too, because it's like ancillary material. It's like because Twin Peaks is so abstract anyway. It's like if you want it to be canon, it can't. It's more like just a take. It's like, yeah, sure. I guess that could be what happened. It's so funny to have that about a show where it's like, yeah, sure, I guess that could be what happened. But regardless, how are you feeling about the conclusion of Twin Peaks?
Well, I guess conclusion is quite a word. It's definitely not everything wrapped up in a bow and like, oh, here you go. Here's all the question or answers you wanted.
No,
if anything, it's like, well, we're going to leave you with, I wouldn't really call it a cliffhanger either. Or just more of like I never thought of, timelines or different realities, until the, last episode and this one. I always just kind of thought we were living in one plane, one timeline sort of thing. But I think this kind of muddies the water on that a little bit. So kind of transforms the rest of the show as well. Definitely
the rest of the return, particularly. Like, seasons 1 and 2, I don't think that we are dealing with anything on this level of like, oh, does this take place in a different reality? Because I do think that there's an argument to be made that Part 17 is what broke reality, as it were.
Yes.
Him trying to save Laura creates this branch, as it were. There's a few interesting theories that I really, really enjoy, and it all goes with, Laura, Diane becomes a very important factor whenever it comes to the whole, she got taken to the convenience store and she was, she got taken past this room and then she came out and she was different and all that stuff. Notably, the same room that Laura went into the painting in Fire Walk with Me. Is there a chance that the Laura, that's talking to James that says, your Laura's gone, is a tulpa? Is there, is this the real Laura and has just been placed somewhere else like came out of the Black Lodge,
Yeah.
and here she is. You know, there's a
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot going there, and I'm excited to kind of try to find our way with it. It is a lot, and I don't think we'll be able to expel all our notions, but we will be able to get a lot of them out.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about the show, is that I'd say most people don't spend an entire year watching the show and, you know, kind of breaking it down
No, definitely
episode
not.
by episode in such excruciating detail, kind of theory spinning each episode, you know, really, really thinking about it all.
Mhm.
And now that I'm here at the end, it's like, well, I think I need another 5 years with the show to
Yeah.
like truly
No,
understand.
you
and
are
have-
you took a year with
Mhm.
it and talked about every bit,
Yep.
every little detail, everything got analyzed, and you are about as well off as somebody who absolutely did not do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the brilliance of the show, is how abstract it can be and how open for interpretation it finds itself, because I think this was my third time completing The Return.
Man.
And I finished The Return most recently between our conclusion of coverage of Fire Walk With Me and the beginning of our coverage of The Return. I squeezed a quick rewatch of it in there. And yeah, I mean, I've watched it 3 times and I don't have any firmer ideas than I did, you know, after my first viewing. I do think that there are some things that us doing this did benefit me regarding Audrey's storyline. I feel a little bit more like hers might be a microcosm of literally the entire show. She might be every character embodied here, where it's like, I don't feel like I'm me. You know, we get the whole Audrey Tina thing. Is Audrey Tina? Is Tina Audrey? Yes, no, doesn't matter. They're I think that she asks about the story of the little girl who lived down the lane, which is something that the arm says here. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and try to do a scene by scene breakdown. Obviously, not a super long scene by scene breakdown, because we spend a good 10 minutes of it in a car.
Just traveling, just driving. Not a lot of words spoken either. You know, not a lot of emotions had. Just we're here, we're there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Um,
But Coop's doppelganger sits in the Black Lodge surrounded by flames. Mike creates a new Dougie Jones, who shows up at the Jones home, greeted by Janie E. and Sonny Jim. So, fun way to kick off the episode. You know, you're immediately like, oh, here's Mr. C. He's got the cataracted eyes.
Yeah.
He's burning in hell, basically.
Yeah.
And here's Dougie Jones getting welcomed home, and I like that Janie E is able to perceive that this one is truly, like, this is Dougie, like, behaviorally, this is going to be Dougie again, which I think is nice.
Yeah, and it's
home.
At least maybe the one thing that was tied in a bow. You know, the one thing that was like, all right, here you go. You wanted Janie E and Sonny Jim and Dougie just to all be all right, and boom, let's just
they got their happy ending. Depending on what your interpretation of the actual ending of the episode is, they got their happy ending.
Yeah,
but
in this timeline, in this world, you know, they're fine. The Mitchum brothers, they'll be back. You know, it'll be normal Dougie. They'll be like, well, I don't know what the fuck happened there. That must have been a dream. You know, they'll just. It's so crazy what they witnessed that who knows? They're just gonna brush that off.
Well, and there's already been evidence, like vague evidence of the fact that whenever someone does bear witness to stuff like this, they kind of forget it. Like with with Gordon Cole and Albert being like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm starting to remember that too. With Philip Jeffries, it's like, you'd think you'd fucking remember something like that, and not have to be kind of reminded.
Yeah, it is.
But nevertheless, that's a nice little bow on the Dougie Jones storyline. Get a nice little conclusion for Janie E and Sonny Jim. But we then head to the end of last episode, where Cooper leads Laura through the woods and she disappears, notably making the same sort of like flickering sound that we hear whenever I think Tulpas. Isn't that is that where we've heard it before? Is that?
Yeah, it feels just kind of a it's used whenever a or just another worldly, and something not here. And I don't know if it's like they're transport. It feels like it is a not necessarily transporting or leaving, but just it's not them quite.
Right.
But it's and Tulpa. It's such a it's such a word introduced so late in the game, but it's like so important. Like we went from doppelganger, but then now is Tulpa different than doppelganger or kind of just the same?
No, technically the same definition. Like looks the same, acts the same. The deal with the Tulpa is that they were. A doppelganger happens by chance. A Tulpa was created for this purpose.
Okay.
A Tulpa was made to be a duplicate instead of a doppelganger, which is just appears to be a duplicate.
Okay. So it's
they are synonymous, but a Tulpa implies intention.
Okay. And it feels like there is a prime version of everyone sort of thing.
Yes.
And then like anyone and everyone could be a Tulpa, and you wouldn't even know it unless you truly think of, I don't know, like there's no way to ever even know. Like you could wake up, Audrey could be a Tulpa one day and have one interaction that just needs to happen or something, and then the next day it is her. Like it feels as if there are certain Tulpas that are much more important to be created, or like this must happen. It is very important. But then it's
right.
Yeah, it's very interesting to think of like when Laura could have been her, when it truly was something manufactured. Seems that she's been just pulled in and out, and kind of been used a whole lot for this.
Well, and there's a lot of evidence in regards to the whole is Laura a Tulpa in the back half of Fire Walk with Me. You know, because we do obviously see a version of Laura that kind of exists in the Black Lodge, that just is there, which doesn't really apply to a lot of other characters. And the only other characters it has applied to are ones who have been duplicated. So you know, James in early season 1 being like, it's like she was a different person, you know, and obviously there's a metaphorical and more, I don't know, philosophical version of that that's easy to take with the idea of addiction and abuse and all of that. But in terms of the practical, quote unquote, reality of the series, there's this idea that, you know, she might have literally been a different person.
Yeah.
Because her behavior in the back half of Fire Walk with Me does mirror a lot more Diane's Tulpa when she realizes she's not real.
Yes.
You know, like there's a little bit of that kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening to me is, you know, and again, a lot more factors than just that as far as Laura's story is concerned, but just something to consider. Nevertheless, Cooper leads Laura through the woods and she disappears. Cooper hears her screams. We then head to the lodge where Cooper sits near Mike, and we get this kind of flashback to what I believe happened in episode 2.
So, I mean, early.
Flashback is a way to say it. It could just be happening again.
It's giving us more context of when it could have happened, or it's happening over and over again, or it doesn't matter.
And that's the thing, is that Laura screams when she sees Coop in Fire Walk with Me. You know, like, so the implication to me is that this always happened, and that what happens at the end of this is a branching of reality. One version of it, Laura dies. The other of it, Carrie Page, is created. That's kind of how I see it.
A scream. The scream always follows by being kind of yoinked out of the timeline. It feels like, and then kind of put back somewhere. But then at the end, you know, we just see her scream. Does she stay there? You know, is that timeline just like, do they live in that world, that reality from here on out, or is there another pole that I guess happens from that? You know, it feels. I
have theory regarding the end here.
True, yeah, but
we will get there. But regardless, we get this scene again where Mike asks, "Is it future or is it past?" And Cooper observes the chair Laura sat in. And we get this kind of like quickly cut together version of what happened in episode 2. He follows Mike to the evolution of the arm, which asks if it is the story about the little girl who lives down the lane.
Yeah.
Laura whispers in Cooper's ear, and she is lifted, screaming through the lodge ceiling.
Yep. Another.
Cooper goes to Leland, who tells him to find Laura. He goes through billowing curtains to Glastonbury Grove, which we discussed literally last episode.
Yes.
And obviously,
it did show.
I just wanted to kind of, I wanted to reseed it in your mind that this is a place, and that it's weird that we hadn't gone here yet, and it's because of what seems to be a very specific choice to not visit it previously.
Yeah, and we went in with Coop. I guess Harry stayed out a little bit, but Annie was in there. But then the next time we come out, it's just Coop and Diane waiting there for him. So it's like this episode, like Diane and her hair color, it feels like a sort of like a marker of like time almost, like that. This is a Diane that existed before the start of the plan. You know, like when all of this is planning out. White hair Diane is just Tulpa. I don't know, or like it's like almost a tell of how much this Diane has experienced in a way. I don't know. But yeah, this lodge at least, or this I don't know, the trees that are there, they do seem more grown. Like this does seem like a 25-year jump has happened here. So
and it's hard to when it comes to this specific version of everything that happens. We do see at the end of this, originally it results in Coop emerging as Dougie Jones. You know, like he finds his way there, he finds his way to the outlet and all that. Like he looks through that and he sees Mr. C driving down the highway, if you'll recall.
Yes. Yeah.
That, and he also, and this time, he's doing something to make this happen.
Arm.
Like,
he's like
when he sticks his hand out and shakes his hand, and it makes the curtains like
he knows,
which implies to me that, and also that I don't know how this works. I don't know how this works. I will say I don't think this is I again think this is a different Coop.
Yeah, he's not fully there. He's not 100% there. And like
it's a hybrid.
Yes, and
I think it's a hybrid Coop made up of all the Coops we've seen. Mr. C, regular Coop. Mainly those two, obviously, because Dougie Jones is just a nothing Coop.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's because Dougie exists. Like Mr. C trapped on fire, bro, is just there, hopefully forever. I feel like he is. He is the fuel to keep, I don't know, the world going. Like we just burn him forever, and he's just, in torment there. But we have Dougie and Coop, and I wonder if it's like just a split personality thing. Like there's only so much brain bandwidth that you can give to yourself, and if there's two versions of you out there, it is like this lesser version of Coop. So when he comes. Like, whenever we do get Coop back, he's like 100%. That is when Dougie is gone and Mr. C. Well, no, he's like not in the real world, right? He's like in the convenience. I guess who knows when everything happens, but like, I feel like it was the one time where Coop was actually the only one, good Coop was the only one awake during that time. So, like, maybe that's how he was fully back at 100%. And now that
Well, is there an argument to be had that original good Coop is stuck in 89 or whatever? Like he didn't,
Yeah.
We watch as Laura goes away, and then all of a sudden Coop is back in the lodge.
Yeah, because it's always the 25-year version of him that like get, or 25 plus year. that we see in the lodge right away, and yeah, his good, I don't know, older self. I don't know. It might just be we are 25, literally 25 years, and they don't want to de-age him, or it does work out that like it is this version of him always,
right?
But I like because it did feel like there was a little bit of a Mr. C in this coop. It wasn't like fully evil.
Oh yeah,
but there's a
it's,
weird. Huh?
He's doing what he's got to do to get shit done, and it results in him, shooting a dude in the foot, and then putting other people in danger by putting guns and burning oil and all that stuff. Yeah, it's not the coop we've come to know, but it's not the coop we've come to know. He's a little different, but he goes through the billowing curtains to Glastonbury Grove, where Diane waits and asks if it is really him, and he asks the same of her.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Diane touches him here, and then like she has a reaction of like, oh, it is, but she has this. I don't know. There is something to her that's hesitant. That it's not like this isn't fully right. Like something is kind of off, and I don't know if it's they have this plan or sort of like, okay, like this, we have to go down this road. We are about to time travel, or we are about to go to another reality sort of thing. And I think like that's in the back of both of their heads. So they're like, it might just be like a anxious, like, holy shit, we're at this step of the plan. Things are about to be different forever. But I also feel like there is this, this isn't my coop fully. Like there is, like she has this weird air between, like it didn't feel like the reunion last episode, where they kind of were fully taken by each other, and like it did feel kind of better.
That's what's interesting, is that it doesn't feel like the reunion last episode to me, because it doesn't feel like he's been gone for as long, in my opinion. Like this, Diane's been waiting. Diane's sitting there, waiting for him, which doesn't imply that it's been a long time. It implies that she either leaves and comes back regularly, or he wasn't in there very long in this version of reality, or this is a different version of reality.
Yeah, he walked in there with, like, Diane stayed out, he walked in, and then just probably, I don't know, it could have been instantaneous for Diane, like her.
Exactly. And there's all sorts of different possibilities here where Diane, because this is 25 years in the future, Diane. I know we get the question at the end, what year is this?
Yeah.
I think that's Coop's way of like trying to base himself in reality, and I think that the issue is that they're not in reality. You know what I'm saying? Like I like he's like, what year is this? Like that will help him somehow, and I don't think that will help him at all, because I don't think we're in the past. I don't think we're in the future. I think we just are wherever they're supposed to be.
I see.
Era wise, just is. I don't think that matters. But so that's the other thing too, is like whenever we get to like this kind of literal aspect of time slipping and time circles and everything like that, like I don't even know how much the show really gives a shit about that. You know what I'm saying? As far as the logic of it is concerned. Because obviously here we watch as Cooper and Diane get in the car together and drive 430 miles. This is part of the plan. This is something they are going to do. They were always ready to do it. Diane, like, and all of a sudden you're like,
yeah.
So you've just dropped me into another story that I have no idea what's going. Like this is the beginning of another, like the middle of another story that we haven't seen the beginning of.
Okay. This seems just all part of the plan. It is always there. If time does matter a little bit, I think the only thing that gives where we are here, the trees look more grown, but the car they get into looks older. Like it doesn't look like a 2015 or I don't know, like 2010 car. This seems like it could be 25 years ago, and the motel they get to feels a little older, and then the jump, it feels when they fall asleep.
Yeah, notably no cell phones ever shown. Obviously very purposeful.
Yeah. And so, these feel like the 25 years in the future, Coop and Diane, but they are back in the past to do something. Like this is a
right.
And yeah, as to what step of the plan is this? Is this very near the end or a very early thing that is happening? I don't know. But yeah, I wonder how much of, like, there is worry kind of in both of their minds. Like Diane seems.
Oh yeah, they're concerned for what they're about to do, and Diane is even like,
we don't have
like she
to.
warns him, we don't have to do this. There's no guarantee of what we can expect on the other side. Is basically what she says. They know they're going through a portal of some sort.
Yes. Yeah.
Upon arriving, Coop gets out of the car. He feels around. He's like, yeah, no, this is it. He feels the electricity, as it were. We notably get the shots of the power lines on the right side, which argument to be had that like every time we've seen them, we're looking at those specific power lines. I don't know how much that matters, but feels like that's like those are the power lines we are specifically concerning ourselves with every time. And he returns to Diane, confirming that this is the place, and they kiss before driving through a portal, which transports them to a dark road.
Yeah.
And something obviously changes. They sit very still, and they're no longer expressive, and they just are until they arrive at their destination. And this goes back to the very, very first scene of The Return, which is Coop and the fireman. And this is one of the numbers he gives him, 430.
Okay.
And he says, remember Richard and Linda.
Oh, okay. That is where, okay, yes. Wow.
Yeah. So, this is part of the plan, and there's an argument to be had that he goes straight from that conversation to this, and there's again, how many Coops are we dealing with if that's the case, and what's the, is it future, is it past, does it matter? I don't know, but man, it's a lot. So yeah, just that's another thing to remember, is that the 430 miles in the Richard and Linda stuff is stuff the firemen specifically told Coop at the beginning of The Return.
Yeah. Wow. And okay, I knew the 430, that rung a bell of the number, but I forgot that he told him about Richard and Linda too. That was, oh my God. I was like, because Richard, I'm like, okay, Richard Horn? I'm like, that's the only other.
Yeah, you were like
Richard that I kind of know of.
Dick Tremaine came up, yeah.
Linda still, I mean, there's no.
Eludes.
Yeah, it is just these versions of Coop and Diane.
Yeah, it's a different version of them, yeah.
And they, man, and this motel, is this the same one that Philip Jeffries was in? Like it sort of, I feel like we never saw this angle of it, of when he walks in the office, but then when it pans back to show the room they go into, it is kind of that like corner room, or like next to it. It kind of felt like the one that Philip was staying in. But it could just be a new one. But it, like...
Yeah, when it came to the motel we'd seen previously, it reminded me a little bit more of the one that we saw in Deer Meadow and Fire Walk with Me. The one that Laura and Ronette are, and Teresa Banks were like going to sleep with clients. It's kind of the one that the Philip Jeffries motel has always kind of reminded me of. And again, they're also motels.
True.
So there is a kind
carbon
of
copy, kind of, or just a
cookie cutter, sort of feel to them. But no, I mean, clearly they reach this motel and it's of grand importance, because while sitting in the car, Diane does see herself, which is again just the type of shit that I don't know what it does to me. Just really freaks me the fuck out. And like, I also have an issue with distance. Like when you can't articulate the features on someone's face and they're obviously looking at you. Nope. No. Nah. I'm good. Like the way her eyes are like hollowed out at a distance because you can't see the details of her face because she's far enough away for you to know it's her, but not what she wants or what she, I don't know. The mystery of it is just enough to freak me the fuck out. And, Diane sees herself, doesn't react at all.
Okay.
And then Coop returns, not seeing the copy of Diane. And they enter a motel room, and Coop, is like she turns on the light. It's like weirdly overexposed.
Okay. And then no.
And he's like, turn off the light.
No lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
You come over here to me. Yeah. And then they get down and dirty. They have sex.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good sex scene. It's also very Twin Peaksy because you have this strange uncomfortability of, to me, and I love the behind the scenes story of this, which is that Laura Dern, Kyle MacLachlan, and David Lynch obviously all on set here, and there wasn't really a plan for how they were going to do this. Or what the direction of the emotions were going to be. David Lynch just kind of told Laura Dern what to do as she was doing it. Like like, all right, now put your hands on his face, now cry. Like
she's blind, or she was the lady with no eyes, and
Nido,
and now at least that's what I'm like, the covering of the face. Like, I don't think it was covering his face. It was more of like, this is how she was
his face. Maybe
for 25. I don't know, this is how she existed for so long that she sees better with her hands, or and it was that. But the cry, like, I think is like this isn't the same. Like this is. I thought we were here. I thought this was us, but it's. It either feels off or like a long lasting, like, wow, like finally, but it didn't feel good.
No, it for me, it has a negative connotation. Like there's I think another important thing to note is that the last time she had sexual relations with a man who looked like Coop, it was rape.
Yes.
So I do think that there's kind of a turning point here where either she's losing herself, or she realizes that this relationship can't be what she wants it to be because of this history with Mr. C. And like, if that's him, like, is there a part of her that will always see him in that way, kind of, or will be unable to see him in a different way? But also, Coop's handling of the situation is odd too. Yeah. There's nothing normal about it.
It's just. I guess Diane, she starts to cry, but that's like the most emotion that's shown. Like, Coop is just kind of there. He's
neutral. He's very blank faced.
Nothing. And my worry was like, oh, is this the night? Like, is this the night that she's referring to? Like, is it going to change into that eventually? But she said, like, he was just so worried about what the FBI was doing. That's all he wanted to know. And
that was also at her house and all that stuff. But one of the most interesting parts to me too is Diane under the impression already that she is Linda? Like, the second they go through that portal, is she Linda? Like, Coop is confused by being referred to as Richard.
Yes.
But the implication is that Linda left this note, and Linda
wrote herself
was Diane. True. So,
maybe seeing herself kind of outside the window was like a confirmation, or like a until you think about, oh, am I this version of me? It's never going to be a thought in your head, I feel like, or like you're just accepting the reality you're in for the moment. But then once Diane sees another version of herself, she's like, oh wait, what the fuck? Oh yeah, we did travel through that portal. Oh yeah, we did. Like, then she starts to remember maybe sort of things and put stuff together. But Coop was just, he went through the portal, got to the motel, got the key, went in there, had some sex, woke up. Then the only time he was confronted with his reality was then when he read Richard and Linda. And
well, he reads Richard and Linda, then he goes outside, and his car is different.
The motel's different.
And the motel is different. Yeah.
The room was the same.
So
which was, it could, like, just the cookie cutter of motels, but like the furniture in the room, I don't know if the blanket or the bed was the same, but like the front of the room and the door looked the same in there. And
one of, again, just an eerie detail that I don't know if it means anything, but I don't like it, is that there's one window where the curtain is cracked, and it looks like you don't see anybody looking through it, but there's literally only one window where the curtain is pushed a little to the side where like someone has enough room to be looking out of. Wow. And I'm pretty sure it's the room he was in.
'Cause the bathroom door was shut, and like, I know the note was there and said like, don't try to look for me. But like, it'd be really fun if she was just hiding in the bathroom that whole time, and just never checked in there. But yeah, this, I mean, I want, like, the confronted with your own, like, reality is one thing, but I wonder, like, he did fall asleep and he did maybe dream, during this time, or like and this is what took him out of that current coop in that motel or wherever they were, in seemingly the middle of nowhere, and then get back in there in Odessa.
Was the entire show the dream he had that night? No,
because I mean, a euphoric moment, into a nice slumber. It's like I don't know. I don't think it's the sex. I don't think it is like that's not kind of the thing. But the falling asleep and then waking up in a new world completely. That is, I think because, I don't know how to read Linda or like if she does know right away, when they travel kind of through there, because they're at a different motel, or seemingly a different location when they're there. But Coop wakes up in literally a different spot on the world. I don't think it's just a teleportation thing. I think it's more of a reality switch.
He wakes up in a new reality where he is now Richard and she is now Linda. But it's almost like there's like a lag, like the world's catching up to him. Like he wasn't supposed to go through this portal. He wasn't supposed to find himself there. And now that he has, like, it's like correcting itself and it's slowly rewriting. Like he wakes up and reality's catching up to him, kind of. I don't know.
Yes,
but
to remember, I don't. Yeah, it's like
he goes ahead and pulls on out. I don't know if he did. Right? No, but Coop reaches Odessa.
Yeah.
Which we got on Odessa.
Is it Missouri?
Like 20 minutes up the road, so
this isn't
weird.
Missouri,
no.
Is it?
This is not Odessa, Missouri. I can't tell exactly where it's supposed to be. I know there's an Odessa, Texas. Can't really tell if that's what it's supposed to be either.
It feels right with the diner. I don't know the guys in there.
430 miles. I mean, we could do the math. How far away is 430 miles away from Twin Peaks? But also, they go through a portal, and there's literally no telling where it took them after that at the 430 mile mark. So,
yeah, it's
doesn't seem like they drove for more than a day though. So there's also it's less than a day's drive away from Twin Peaks, wherever they might be. But regardless, Cooper reaches Odessa, finding a coffee shop called Eat at Judy's.
Yeah, Judy.
Which
good old we don't talk about Judy, but
I don't think this is the part that makes me go, I don't think any of this shit is real.
This is all just remnants of a dream. Real. And
this is all one last try. I think it's a Hail Mary to overcorrect Cooper trying to save Laura. And Judy is doing something to really try to trap him.
Yes. Like, yeah, okay. But wouldn't. Let's see, because it feels like Judy was something to be afraid of, or to be like you don't want to know about Judy. But then he sees it and instantly he has to investigate, sort of thing. So like it's like putting him on the track to find Laura. And
he also seems to inherently know that this is where Laura works.
Yeah, true. Who is there another waitress that works here? Maybe like well, no, I was going to say Coop remembered all of Dougie's kind of experiences, but it kind of was him. It wasn't really Dougie. It was just him thought of as Dougie. But I wonder if, like, he can know all of Richard's memories, and this is just a place where Richard goes to and dines. But, yeah, I mean... No, because for Carrie, we're not done. Because I wonder if, like, Coop, like, at a motel, Linda, I guess, is the Diane in this world. Yeah, I don't know. But, like, it seems that Laura and Coop have always had a connection. Laura called out to Coop in the reality we know to come save him, or to, like, help. I need you to find me. And then here at the very, very end, he is like pulling her, trying to put her back in the original.
Yeah, to remind her.
But it's not like a to actually resolve everything and the killing didn't happen and you go back to high school. Is like, no, it is like all of that kind of happened. You were a girl named Laura Palmer. You did die, sort of thing, and this was your house.
Yeah, so that is the thing, is that he does remember that reality. He's like, I'm pretty sure your dad's name is Leland, your mom's name is Sarah, and there's something there. You know, like she's like, yeah, why are you doing this? You know, and obviously with the end, we know that there's a little bit more there than meets the eye, but regardless. We're going to head in to eat at Judy's, where he goes inside and asks the waitress serving him if there was another one who worked there. He is told that this is the other waitress's day off, and he spots a group of men harassing the waitress and advises them to stop. They threaten him, and he incapacitates two of them with a kick in the groin and a bullet to the toe. And then the other one, he's like, now go ahead and sit your ass down if you don't mind. And the guy's like, yeah, you know what, that sounds fair. You know what, that's fine. Sure, let's go for it. He walks up with the gun up to the waitress and asks, he's like, all right, now give me the other waitress's address, as he places the guns belonging to the men in the deep fryer. He's like, all right, so I don't know if this oil's hot enough, but the guns could go off, so I'd back up.
The cook was like, all right, you know, shit, fair enough.
All right, I'm a foot with you. You know, the old people are like, who is this guy? You know, like, I love that they're not really like frightened. They're just kind of like, what the fuck? You know, they're like, this is weird. But he leaves with the address and he goes to the waitress's home. Upon arriving, spotting a utility pole outside with a number 6 attached to it. Which is something we've seen repeatedly in spots where typically someone disappears, whether it's a portal or Miss Chalfont's or Miss Tremont's trailer in the park where Chet Desmond goes missing. Teresa Banks's old trailer, all that. Like, there's a recurring utility pole, electricity, number 6, all that good stuff. But he knocks on the door, and the waitress opens the door, revealing herself to be played by Cheryl Lee, resembling Laura Palmer, of course. Confused about it, he calls her Laura. He's like, Laura? And she's like, what? He goes, you're Laura. And she goes, I think you got the wrong house. He goes, what is your name? And she says her name is Carrie Page. And again, you know, another thing that makes me think that this might be a dream realm concocted by Judy, as it were, is the idea that Carrie Page, the pages of the diary, there's a little bit of like almost like word association thing going on with her name, which I think is funny.
Yeah, you carry the pages with you, or these carry page, and
I don't know if I'm over
I mean,
or
maybe
undersimplifying that, but
no, it could also feel like she made that name up on the spot. I don't know, because like there is a dead dude in her house, and this is an FBI agent, and she's like, I need to get the fuck out. So it might have been like a, yep, this is my name for sure. But no, the I don't think it's any like every name
there's
is chosen
a few things
with reason, or
yeah, and there's a few things here when it comes to the whole like needing to get out of Dodge. This is an FBI agent at her door. She's got a dead guy on the couch with a bullet hole in his head. She has said, I need to leave.
Yeah.
But she goes ahead and invites this law enforcement agent into her home where a dude is murdered.
Not even worried about it.
So there is kind of this, again, very dream-like logic, where it's like, yeah, sure, come on in. He doesn't even seem to mind. He just notices it. He notices it about as much as he notices the white horse figurine on the mantle.
Yes. Yeah. The good old showing up again, you know. One more time. And little that wasn't a real physical, it's only appeared mystically before, and now seemingly real, but if a dream.
Little trinket.
And I mean, the weird like toilet thing right by her front door too, with like a big like bin and like a like the stuff in it. I'm like, what is? It did just feel very dream-esque. Like this is not
unreal.
Yeah, real.
It feels like nothing, and I
don't have any food here.
Ultimately, I do think that the firemen, there's a larger scale war going on, as it were, between like I think Bob and Judy. Judy using Bob to try to infiltrate the Black Lodge and take it for her own, as it were. And we've talked about Mike and how he's weird. He's not a White Lodge figure. He's obviously a Black Lodge guy, but he doesn't align with them. And I think that when it comes to the firemen and Naito, maybe if they're White Lodge figures, and let's say Mike is a Black Lodge figure, maybe they're collaborating for the greater good, as it were, to try to prevent Judy from co-opting this and destroying the world. I don't know. But
I guess I was thinking, like, why would kind of Judy point Coop in the direction of Laura again, like to because it like naming the restaurant that feels like a pull, like pulling him in, like you will be interested by this, go here, go find, Laura works here, sort of thing. But maybe it is like this version of Laura shouldn't like get saving, like she should be arrested. There's a dead dude right in there. Like if he acted as a normal FBI agent or whatever, like it would have just been no arrest. But maybe it's like that's the fight, or that's like the act of rebellion is still wanting to save Laura, or like this no matter what. Like it is maybe that's like the war that's going on, is trying to remove all of the good that's in Coop, that as possible, just try, or out of everyone,
right,
that you can, and just have this Bob evil nature take over, so you can have just control or whatever. But then Coop still being like, no, this is very important. Like we must do this. Like we must keep thinking this, keep dreaming this, like keep it on our mind, like that, like to remember is kind of like the only fight that the White Lodge can do. It seems like to want so badly something that it does change the past, which does change the future, sort of thing. Like a Coop,
right?
Laura wanted to, I don't know, this call out so bad, and Coop so desperately wanted to save her, and I don't know, it doesn't feel like there was really like a saving moment. Like he does grab her out of that reality, but then poof, she's gone, like in the woods. And then like everything usually ends in a scream or like not comfortable for Laura. So I mean, it doesn't really feel like the saving moment has happened, but it's like that she can just continue on past her death so strongly, like that she's not dead in the first place. Like there's, I of the viewer of the show would never really think Laura as dead. I feel like for her presence just in the lodges and everything.
Yeah, she is dead, yet she lives. Yeah, as she says, there's a couple different ways that I could see the ending translating. One positive, one excruciatingly negative. And I'll walk through both of those when we get there. But regardless, they go ahead and head on out. They drive, Carrie reminiscing about Odessa and stopping at a gas station on the way. At one point, they notice a car's headlights behind them and wonder if they are being followed, only for it to harmlessly pass them. Again, great suspenseful tension effect where the car behind them seemingly doesn't accelerate or decelerate. The headlights just stay in the exact same spot, which is like a really effective way for something to feel uneasy, instead of it feeling like it's like approaching them anymore or straying behind them more. It's just staying right where it's at. Which is a little freaky, It implies intention, but again, just harmlessly passes them. Eventually, they reach Twin Peaks, and Coop asks, "Do you recognize anything? Any of this ringing a bell?" And Carrie doesn't seem to recognize anything, and they arrive at what Cooper recognizes as the Palmer household. They walk up to the door, Coop taking Laura's hand, but a stranger answers. Stranger, notably played by the real-life owner of that house, by the way.
Sick. That's awesome. So
yes.
we're in real reality.
Yes,
yes, we're in fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in...
I think I don't think you're not entirely on an ill-fated track there, I think, by thinking maybe they found their way into the real world. But... that's an entire, it's its own theory entirely. But stranger answers, not recognizing the name Sarah Palmer. And Coop asks who she purchased the home from, and she looks to a faceless man in the room next to her and asks, who did we buy this home from? And the home was from a woman named Mrs. Chalfont. Mrs. Chalfont has appeared in the show before.
Yeah. As
the old woman with the grandson.
Yep, weird.
She also identifies herself as Mrs. Tremond at some point, which is what this woman identifies herself as.
Yeah. Is this the very, very much younger version? Is this a daughter? Is this a, even...
a descendant?
Not even, they're not even family. It is just since it is a dream or all kind of a concoction in the first place, it's like the strange figure that is, appearing in households, or like when you need, it sounds weird that like there's NPCs or like, that they are just kind of used for like different things. Like she's just kind of the house owner or the next owner of a house where something bad happens or something weird happens.
Yeah, she was the previous owner. It was her trailer that Chet Desmond went missing from, like all. It was her house that was next to Harold's.
Yeah. There's some there and like
she's the one who gives Laura the painting.
Yeah, not a being of this world. I feel like this, not a human. Her grandson, he's just been practicing magic. Don't worry about him. He's he can just do literal magic. They're very, and I think that's why like Coop is so interested of like what year is it? Like that's the only way he can logic himself out of it is like, okay, so there's been, you've owned this house, there's a previous owner. The only way that can happen is like if Sarah Palmer hasn't owned the house yet, or it is one before that, or even well before. I think like is maybe where his head is going. But I think it is more of like a no, like this isn't real. This is a dream world here. And
this is either a dream world or you've woken up from the dream entirely, and the world doesn't exist.
And the actors need to remember that they are just Kyle MacLachlan, and or like their real selves,
perhaps.
So
but obviously that is very quickly undercut here. We're lost in thought. Cooper hesitates as they get to the car. He turns back in the direction of the house, sensing that something isn't right. And he asks, "What year is this?"
Yeah.
Carrie turns to look at the former Palmer home and hears Sarah's voice shout, "Laura." She suddenly screams in terror, startling Coop and causing the lights in the house to blow out. We cut to black, and the show ends on an image of Laura whispering in Coop's ear.
Yeah. I was just like, when it finally ended, I was like, this is the actual end of the show. I was sitting on, through the credits for so long. I was just kind of in shock. I didn't know what to think. It was
and I still don't really know what I am supposed to think or should think. I just know that what I generally do think. And we've had a lot of fun theorizing about like the David Lynch being the dreamer and the actors needing to like realize that they're entity. And that's a fun theory. I don't think it's what they're going for.
Okay.
I think that there's when it comes to Laura, remembering here at the end, it does imply that this Carrie Page was Laura Palmer. It's not just again, it reminds me of the Tulpa waking up and realizing that this isn't real. I'm not real. I'm not me. All that good stuff. And when she screams, the lights in the house blow out.
Yes.
The electricity swells, overloads. And now, if this is Judy concocted reality, I take this as almost an overdose of Garmonbozia, as it is. Like almost so much pain and suffering brimming to the surface that it blows Judy's lights out, and reality as we know it will return. Like the realities merge. Laura's alive. Everyone lives happily ever after. Good stuff. We're good. Bye. The other possibility is that Coop has, there's so many possibilities. The other possibility in my head, is that Coop fucked up irrevocably trying to save Laura. Laura was an inevitable sacrifice in a greater war between good and evil. She is the, personification of Coop's savior complex. Like he's gotta save her. It goes back to what he did with Annie, what he did with Caroline, what he did with every woman he's ever interacted with in his life, where he feels like he has to be their saving grace. And ultimately he gets a reality bending means to try to save Laura, and in doing so he creates a new world when he saves Laura, where this alternate reality opens. She's Carrie Page now. It's this whole other trajectory of life that occurs, and then reminding her of the reality that was literally breaks reality. And the cut to black is not only a cut to black for the show, but a cut to black for reality. Yeah, like nothing exists anymore. And therein Judy still doesn't win, but nobody else does either. So that's where I'm at. And, I think that either reality ends and everything's bad, or reality returns and everything's good. And that's a hilarious dichotomy to be sitting with, is like either it's a really happy ending or a really fucking awful, devastating ending.
And that, I mean, if it is this grander battle going on, I feel like it is like a fight of how many timelines or how many realities are being held at one time. Are they good or are they bad? And like this reality seemingly looked pretty bad. Eat at Judy. People are eating at Judy's. People are like dining there, and it's not the double R. It doesn't feel homey. It feels weird, and it's and then a reality where Laura seemingly killed a guy. Like I don't know. This reality doesn't seem that great, and maybe it is like this is another sacrifice. Another Laura has to die to prune this reality, and like get this bad kind of out of here. And because I guess the like switch from Coop to Richard, like why that happened, like because it feels like, I know time is weird and very slippery, but like it did feel like kind of that sleep did wake him up, like it was that sleep that he had and woke up in this reality one after the other, because he was confused. He thought he was in that moment with Diane the night before, as he calls out to her in the bathroom. So I don't know. I feel it'd be weird if that is the goal, is just to hop in this reality. It's not a good one. We have to get rid of it, and the only way to do that is to like literally shatter reality itself and have someone remember a version of themselves that isn't truly them at all, but in another world.
Right. I guess when it comes to my theories regarding the end of this show, a lot of it comes with the fact for me that Coop is guessing.
Mm-hmm. True.
Like he's following a moral compass that indicates, I want to save Laura.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is how I can save Laura. Is reminding her who she is. And not just reminding her who she is. He finds her and it's almost like Coop comes back to the surface. He's like, oh shit, Laura. Hi. Yeah,
maybe.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like because when he goes into the diner and he's like, is there another waitress who works here? It's almost like there's something else guiding his hand. And then the second he gets to Laura's, he's like, or to Carrie's, he's like, oh shit, Laura, what's up? And it's not like he remembers, as it were. It's just that
True.
There's these versions of himself brimming to the surface.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to like Coop's I think Coop's motivations are kind of predetermined, but I don't think he has any idea how to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. I think that when it comes to the Blue Rose stuff, Gordon Cole, Phil Jeffries, they're more well informed than anybody, but it's still complete and utter mystery to them. They don't know how it works. They just know that it does.
And the past dictating the future does kind of seem to be like your values that you hold will determine the decisions you make in the future. Like or else like
right.
What do you have instincts or values or morals for in the first place? So it is like the more you train your brain to be in that, the good moral compass that you want, like then your decisions will just naturally come out that way. But I feel like the Laura, like just the mentioning of Laura, like brings good, like maybe like this is the main part of the fight, because like even in this, after Laura's gone, like when Bobby just sees her picture, it's just a well of emotion and just like, oh my God, when things were just great, or like even though such a tragic thing happened, is like this is like the good world, and maybe like this is it's slowly being infested by the Black Lodge, but like we need to save this world, and the more that people remember of Laura, the remembering of this world at this time, and then like if you can even make a separate reality version of Laura believe in that believe in that world fully, then like it exists even stronger. Like the more just kind of like the death and your real life death and then the death of memory when your name's spoken for the last time. It's just that this is the trying to hold on to this this one thing that almost instantly reminds you that like your reality isn't what you think. Like it is kind of all a dream, and like it is kind of like the instant tell. I don't know, and I think that's why Laura screams at the end. Is like I did hear like a Laura or like a weird Laura, and I didn't know the breakdown. Like it said it was Sarah, and I didn't know. I was trying to wonder who that was, but that meant, that's just creepy. But like reminding her like, oh shit, like that version of me is real, kind of like a Diane scene, whoever that was in the outside of the motel. Like this is when reality all snaps into itself all at one time and boom. And yeah, I think the blackout kind of is that version of reality. I don't really view all of reality ending at once. I view it as like this dream right here, or this reality where Carrie Page is and whoever this form of Dougie is, like, that's gone. And it's
and with my theory, if that's the case, that means to me they've beat Judy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is obviously a good thing.
And maybe they only beat her in one reality on the grand scope of the infinite, so it could just be one small victory, or this could be like the ultimate win of like realizing Judy's real in the first place, and that, all the light breaking out, like the light fully took over at one point, but then it's all dark and there's nothing. But yeah, it could be really, really good, or just kind of like, okay, another step along the way. But I kind of, I do view kind of the ending as like a win for the side of good. I feel like that this wasn't, even though Laura's being reminded of such a tragic time or all of these very bad memories. I feel like it is.
Oh, she's her again.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Which is an inherently positive thing, in my opinion. She's realizing that whatever reality she's existing in is a dream, as it were. Mm-hmm. It's not real. It is. She lives inside a dream.
Yeah. There's
now.
Yeah. The most.
One of the interesting things too is the appearance of Glastonbury Grove in this reality.
Yeah.
It almost feels very purposeful that Glastonbury Grove never showed up before we enter this version of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like this is the same world, or like that the world that we saw was a dream all along too, or like that.
That this world. So let me try to logic my way in and out of this, okay? Like, say there is a timeline, as it were, where, the entirety of seasons 1 and 2 happen. It occurs. Whenever Coop emerges from Black Lodge, from the waiting room, we see multiple versions of that happen. We see him emerge through the socket. We see him at the end of this one shake the curtain and walk out into Glastonbury Grove.
Yeah.
What if the version of reality that Coop and Diane go to when they cross that 430-mile threshold is the version of reality the entirety of the return takes place in? And where they started is the version of reality seasons 1 and 2 take place in. Like Glastonbury Grove never appears in the return prior because we've literally pointed out multiple times it's a different spot. There's a different pool. There's a different tree. There's a different, like, it's a completely different environment. And then for it to all of a sudden be like, yep, and there it is kind of like, oh, why has nobody visited that already? So this version of Coop that emerges to Diane at the beginning of this episode might be the reality that seasons 1 and 2 occupy. And then when they cross that threshold, maybe it almost creates this reality. You know, like it doesn't create it, it's there, but them accessing it gives it life, kind of. It gives it context, it brings it to the surface.
Yeah. And I keep, at least my mind is coming back to the same idea of like the more it is spoken of, or the more it's remembered, the more it is brought to light, the better. And I feel like maybe a dream is like the ultimate version of that, like where it is all thought, all feeling, all your brain, the most active sort of thing, and you're completely forming a reality around a thought, and like that gives it the most strength out of anything. So like, yeah, maybe like the utopia in this world, or like the fight is like just how many nightmares are being had, and how many great utopia perfect dreams are being had on a given night.
Right.
And that's kind of the tell of how much the Black Lodge has spread. And yeah, it is. I feel like that's what Laura kind of represents to me, mainly, is like that is the she is like the embodiment of remembering past just being, the person you are when you're alive in your physical form. Like there is more to you. There's so much the life she did live, but then she lived an entire different, the 25 years that she was gone, people still had a version of her in their head and continued on.
Right.
And yeah, it is Coop wanting to save her so bad. It is like his dream. Like that is his ultimate dream as an FBI agent, is like to save someone from death who already did die. You're not even just solving a case and figuring out who murdered someone. You're changing the past so that it didn't even happen. I feel like, and he wants it so badly that is his reality, and that's all he can think of. So yeah, it is a weird, like, is this like the fight for good going right, or is this just Coop acting on his morals, and like he it isn't actually going fully right, and it's just he thinks he can do this, and yeah, I feel like Major Briggs being there and trapping evil Coop, and the firemen like watching it and sending him to specific locations, I feel like there's more of a plan going on, or that Coop is a little more in the know,
right?
And that it isn't. Like, I think things are going to plan for the fight for good. And
I tend to agree with that. I think that the firemen, going back to the fireman story, is probably the most important to, if we could get it chronologically, and the order in which things occur for the firemen, I think it would be the most illuminating versus the way that it affects our characters at different times when he does things. And again, if chronology even exists in that realm, because like in episode 8, whenever we see the orb that is Laura get sent to Earth, is that when Laura is born? Is that when Laura is sent to this other reality and becomes Carrie Page? Like is he planting the seed for this ending in episode 8 because of the birth of evil? Because Bob did this, is he going ahead and going, okay, now here's a backup plan, almost like, and then one day he would go on to inform Coop 430 miles. Remember Richard and Linda, because I agree. It does seem like things went according to the firemen's plan. It feels like according to what the firemen, Naito, all of them wanted, it doesn't feel like they took any missteps. Now, I do think, again, I am of the mind that Coop is acting roguishly whenever he decides to go save Laura. I don't think that was I don't think that was part of the fireman's ideas, like to go save Laura. I personally do believe that's something Coop wants to do. That's just something Coop wants to do. Now, and that's where the problem lies. Like, it could have all fallen apart because he felt like he had to do that. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't make it the wrong thing to do, which is the complicated part. And the morality test of it is like, it's just the gigantic trolley problem, you know?
Yeah. And
for Coop.
I guess there's going to be paradoxes and everywhere if you try to logic in the time and stuff. But I feel like
Absolutely.
if there is this infinite kind of universes going on, and one world is very much like another, and you could fall asleep, wake up in a parallel world that's just like yours, but just so very slightly different. But like the more and more you are yourself, or the more that you're not faking it, or I don't know, the more that you are acting as you, is like a more difficult to stray away from your reality almost. Like you're more singular in a way, it feels, and maybe like this version of Laura was like one of the most singular, you know, like everyone just loved her. It was she took had just a spread of everywhere, you know, it had an effect on everyone in the town. And like, this is to remember like this version of Laura, this world that existed, is much, much better than whatever we hopped into Richard and Linda and Carrie world, where, you know, seemingly Diane, this version of Diane and Coop, had a falling out. You know, they're no longer in love, or what, something, you know, I don't recognize you anymore. That we're, you know, what we had is gone. That sucks. And then like this version of saving Laura, like taking her back to her home, it ends in like tragedy, and seemingly ends in like not on a positive note. But I think it is ultimately positive by like forgetting this world. Like this world isn't like that great compared to the world that we knew before. So it is like I feel like that is the grander battle that is going on. And yeah, so that would kind of place, maybe Coop is acting roguishly, but the giant, or in Briggs or whoever's at the top, like, be okay with it.
Account for
Yeah,
it.
it's like, it's actually okay because this reality isn't the good one, or isn't the true Laura, or the true versions.
No, yeah, and that's where I'm, again, very open for interpretation, of course. That's why I'm like, him acting roguishly, I don't think it's inherently positive or negative thing on the surface. Like, it can have a positive effect, it could have a negative effect, you know, like, and it depends on precisely what does happen at the end. And I do appreciate that, again, it's broad enough and up for interpretation enough that you can choose to believe in good, and you can choose to be bleak about it. And I think that's a really poetic, beautiful way to end Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's black, but then, you know, it actually ends on the whisper, you know, or in the waiting room, and kind of Laura eternally, almost like frozen in time, whispering to Coop. And yeah, kind of the, what did she say? You know, right there. Like, you're Kyle MacLachlan. You know, is that what she's saying? Is it a, this is who, you know, I used to think like, oh, this is who killed me, by the way. You're the FBI agent who's solving my murder. Here's who killed me. But
and it was originally, it was whenever she says, my father killed me, the first time we see this. But the second time we see it, I guess we don't know. But again, if we're going to such similar imagery, and similar context, you know, to put a negative spin on the end of this, where it, you know, ends the show, could she be saying, you killed me? You know, like, you know, if you want to go negative, you can swing negative. You can. It's and I can't blame anybody who will. But there's maybe she's telling him to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he isn't acting rogue. Maybe that's what Laura whispers. Maybe when Leland says, "Find Laura," Leland tells him to do this. He's like, "Find Laura." Like, this is what you need to do. Maybe Laura wants it too. Maybe this is something Laura is telling him to do in the Black Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other side of this is that Coop has a very earthly understanding of salvation. Saving somebody to him means keeping them alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where I think at the end of Fire Walk with Me, it becomes clear that Laura gets her version of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the most possible version of salvation for her.
Yeah.
So there's just all sorts of possibilities, and I think that's better than any concrete ending the show could. Because would it have felt right to you if the show was like, and here's how you save them? This is how everything works out perfect, and everything makes sense, and it's all wrapped in a tight little bow. No, that would have been like, oh, okay, cool, sure.
No, you can.
But
the show,
it's just never been that
the
show.
The show will live on forever because it isn't concrete, like it is like people will talk about it and have a different view on it forever and ever and ever. And if it, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like even Game of Thrones. There's not really much, that is a crazy show, and no one doubts the, just the prestige of it. But it is there is things that are written at the end. It happened one way that people didn't think it was going to happen, but I think eventually that show, there is no more you can say about it, at one point. But a show like this?
No, the things that people, whenever you go, oh, I didn't like that ending because they chose to do this. Here you go, I didn't like the ending because I don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what happened, and therefore I don't love it, which I can't blame anybody for either. But at least there's nothing like, I didn't like that they made Coop Bob the whole time, or like they managed to, Coop was actually Judy, or Laura was actually Judy, or something that's like crazy out of left field. Bran will be king,
Yeah, no, it's you have to search your feelings.
Okay,
you must like critically think about it and dissect kind of what's going on, and you must formulate your own ending. And it's man, it is just like explain Eraserhead. If asked to ever logically explain the ending of Peaks, I feel like he gives the same answer. Like, please, what is the fireman actually doing here? What is the plan? Or maybe he doesn't even truly know. It is just like a
right.
But you like. This idea of like their lines being read to them right then and there, or like their actions happening as like Lynch is directing them to happen. It is kind of like more of a sign of that, like this is a dream reality that is being created by them. They are these literal characters in a show, but then like in Lynch being the director, I don't know, telling them exactly what to do at every given point. And then Gordon Cole's not even in the last episode whatsoever. Or like, Lynch doesn't make it. It is just Laura, Coop, and Diane for the most part. And like, I kind of had a weird feeling that like Diane was Laura, or like that they are kind of, like there's very like in the car, in the same road, like the imagery of them just being sat together in the car. And like, it feels like that they're, I don't know, connected in some way as well, but I don't know how to read into that. Like there's so many avenues that my mind can go down, which is just it's
just so many possibilities that we would never, I would never be able to go through all of them here in one go. It's just there's an unbelievable beauty in the artful intention, the idea that Lynch created something here that defies categorization. You know, there's nothing like The Return. You know, The Return is 1,000 minutes, like over 1,000 minutes of utter chaos and beauty and imagination and just letting things run wild in this very, very careful and constructed manner. And it's fascinating that he managed to create something that does feel so chaotic and wild, but is so clearly controlled and understood by him, with such intent. It's not just, I don't know, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? You know, no, it's like, no, I know why I'm doing this. You know, I've got ideas. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just makes it incredibly special. And it makes it timeless. It makes it so that you will never, you'll never be able to talk about the show without going, God damn, but it's good though. You know, like, God damn, it's good. I don't know what happened, but it's provocative, gets the people going, you know?
Yeah. And I think like the next time I watch the show, I think my viewpoint will change as well. Like, I think like there's no way that I hold the exact same thoughts as I do now. I think they will change with just with every rewatch and every second I continue to think. And but undoubtedly, which is crazy to say, but like undoubtedly I feel like, yeah, there's a great war going on at the universal scale. You know, like this is my new Marvel. I don't know. This is my this is the shit I care for much more. And yeah, just to know it's, I don't know, there's,
as far as the grand myth that you care about modernly, Twin Peaks is the premier example, and I'm right there with you. It's incredibly special, and I'm so glad that a year ago we sat down and I was like, all right, you got to check this shit out. All right, if you're feeling this way about the world right now, got to check out Twin Peaks. Let's really dig in. You watch the first couple episodes. I was like, all right, now hear me out. And we did it, and we're here. Super long year, but super quick year. You know, I feel like we just started this shit. Like it's crazy that it's already coming to a close here.
Man. God damn.
And like I've said, you know, everybody listening, if you have any interest in us doing another show, another one of these, you know, episode by episode, scene by scene coverage pieces, let me know what you would like to hear us talk about. I'm not going to say that we're definitely going to abide by it. You know, this one, this is only really the second show we've ever done this for. Because we did it for Game of Thrones as well. But I don't know, kind of hard to top.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I don't know if I have much interest in doing another one. If we do, we have to really be struck by inspiration. Not one of those things where, Fire Pod with Me is going to take a break for a month and we'll be back with a new show next, you know, in the summer. No promises there. Maybe we'll see you in 25 years for Fire Pod with Me, the missing pieces. But there's a lot of good stuff here, and it's hard to go and commit to something else just because we want to keep the momentum going, you know. So we appreciate everybody who tuned in with us and stuck with us, and it has been far and away our most successful show, like per episode. It's run for less than a year, and as far as the year itself was concerned, we've never had a show hit the ground running as hard. It's and it will only grow because there will always be more people looking for Twin Peaks, and it will always be here. And I think that that's beautiful. I love that. We will have one more episode, at least one more episode of Fire Pod with Me, kind of a conclusionary look back. You know, we're gonna do that here in a couple weeks on February 24th, a year after the show began. We'll go ahead and do a wrap up piece, a little bit of something we call a 5x5, which is 5 top 5s. And we're gonna nail down exactly what the categories will be. But you know, inevitably top 5 characters, top 5 performances, top 5 episodes, and we'll see what the other categories end up falling into. But man, yeah, just a special show. And this is by no means the last episode of our show. So we'll be back here in a couple weeks. So don't feel like you have to give a swelling goodbye yet. We will be back here in a couple weeks. And I will be posting on TikTok. Look up Colton Robertson. That's where I'm at. To kind of ask for your top 5s. I will be doing that 5x5 top 5. Give me some takes on your opinion on what the ending here means. We can go over that. Let's get a little listener interaction going. I've got tons of Twin Peaks videos over there on TikTok. Comment on any of them, what you think is going on here with the ending. Comment what you think is what it all means, what it all adds up to. And then top 5 performances, characters, and episodes. Would love to hear from you. And then beyond that, I will literally post a TikTok about the 5x5 that will define the categories, and I will ask for them from you. Yeah, I think with that, we may be able to conclude this episode of Fire Pod with me. What are your parting thoughts here on the finale?
Well, it is over, I guess, for the first watch, but I can take solace in that it is not going to be over for me. Like this will be, I watched Thrones, I think 3-4 times. I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but I'd imagine I'm going to get over that with Peaks. I feel like my Thrones rewatches have maybe run dry. Maybe one more in a couple years or so, but this multiple watches will be had of the show.
There's a seasonal aspect to it too, it feels like fall almost. I know that it's, starts in February, but the the first couple seasons, man, I'm like, September rolls around, October rolls around. Let me watch some fucking Peaks, baby. Let's do this shit. But it's easily revisitable. David Lynch was an absolute visionary, and we're gonna keep on chugging with our Lynch stuff as much as we can. But this is not our only podcast. If this is where you found us and what you like listening to us, we do have a movie podcast. If you're looking to expand the movie horizons a little bit, you can stick with us over there. Today is Groundhog Day, February 2nd. So February just kicked off. We just concluded a month of romance movies on the Sentimentalists, where we did Past Lives, Titanic, In the Mood for Love, History. Oh wait, we did Past Lives, Titanic, Wild at Heart, In the Mood for Love, and Moonstruck. So we did get a Lynch movie in last month. In February, we're celebrating Black History Month. Again, that's on the Sentimentalists, Cinementalists. So no Lynch movies because in February, because he's white. We're celebrating Black creatives, Black directors. We're gonna hit a movie called Dry Longso on February 6th, this Friday. Dry Longso. Looking forward to that. Very, very small, intimate indie feature. Available last I checked on the Criterion channel if you are interested in checking it out. So we got that to look forward to this Friday. The month will consist of that. On Valentine's Day, we're going to be hitting Poetic Justice by John Singleton, starring Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur.
Some Poetic Justice.
February 20th, Spike Lee. Yeah, Poetic Justice.
I didn't know it was a movie
on February 20th.
Okay, but
Oh, yes. February 20th, we're going to be hitting Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee feature. And then we're going to top it off with one from this decade, one of my favorite movies from 2024, Nickel Boys. So we've got that to look forward to this month on The Cinementalists, Cinementalists. Now that this show is coming to a close, our Nerd Shit podcast, Geek With Me, is likely going to be a little bit more active than it has been. We will be nailing down precisely what we want to do there. There's probably a lot more opportunity for rewatch podcasts there. Stuff that doesn't require quite as much brain power as Twin Peaks. on Geek With Me, to be sure. You know, we may pick up our comic book movie journey through film now that this is concluding. We may pick up, you know, some of the, you know, MCU TV coverage might be a little bit more, you know, frequent, because we're not covering a TV show every week, guaranteed. So don't get me wrong, it's definitely a downgrade. But anything is going to be when you're comparing it to Twin Peaks. So, that's Geek With Me. Tons of fun. If you're into nerd shit, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, fantasy, I'm in the midst of my first ever D&D campaign. You know, I might, you know, maybe provide some updates on shit like that. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. So I think that we have an opportunity to kind of expand that podcast and get creative with it in a way we haven't given ourselves enough time to. Because of the Sentimentalists and because of Fire Pod With Me. So Geek With Me might be about to, you know, we're gonna figure something out there. I'm excited about it. But yeah, so Fire Pod With Me. Last episode, I'm pretty sure, you know, no promises. Maybe one day, the coffee, or the gum we like will come back into style. Maybe the coffee will be damn fine again. But in the meantime, February 24th will be our last episode of Fire Pod With Me. So stick with us. You will not be disappointed. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
And thank you for having me. It has always been a pleasure. And thank you for showing me this. Thank you for getting the show into my repertoire.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It was a dream. I love being able to show people stuff for the first time that works for them. You know, it's never, and this is never a guarantee. This one's not a guarantee. This won't work for everybody.
Everyone, but everyone should watch it at the same time. It is like
everyone should watch. Eventually, someone will. Eventually, you should be able to access it. But you know, if you can't, you can't, and that's okay.
But there we are.
But yeah, I think with that we will conclude this episode of Fire Pod With Me. Remember, she's dead. Wrapped in plastic.